What's you here isn't half of it. You got scams you haven't even dreamed of. Kickbacks on us, kickbacks. It's a river of dirty money running through this place.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 money laundering schemes in movies.
You were a glorified accountant. What could you possibly have on all of them that we could charge?
I'm good with calculation.
For this list, we'll be looking at the best examples of movie characters covering up ill-gotten funds. Major plot details are discussed, so a spoiler warning is in order. Which of these schemes impresses you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, Bad Boys 2. When running a criminal organization, money laundering might seem like the perfect way to get away with illegal activity. However, this can fall apart if the person in charge of covering up your shady schemes just so happens to be an undercover DEA agent.
You found me, not the other way around. You needed me to change small bills to large ones and make a delivery to a third party, and I'd imagine he'd like his money in a timely fashion. Delivery's late, it's your ass, not mine.
In the over-the-top sequel Bad Boys 2, Detective Marcus Burnett's sister, Sid, infiltrates Russian mob boss Alexei's organization, which is in cahoots with drug kingpin Johnny Tapia. Sid ends up being taken hostage by Tapia, but his schemes are soon foiled by detectives Miles and Mike.
Mike, please, man, you gotta get out.
Vargas, get out, abort! We're not gonna make it to the tunnel. Go to plan B. We're going to plan B.
He probably wishes he had done a little more research into her past. Number 19, Made. Movies about the mafia often involve money laundering, but they're usually not as funny as this. In Jon Favreau's crime comedy, struggling boxer Bobby, played by Favreau, does a favor for mob boss Max involving money laundering.
But you know, this one tells that one, the other one tells another one, and before you know it, the whole world, everybody's in on it.
That's what you call a smart money, right?
However, he jeopardizes the plan by taking along his unpredictable friend, Ricky. Played by Favreau's swinger co-star Vince Vaughn, Ricky is basically the last person you'd want around in such a situation.
Who gets their hands on this?
That's your per diem.
Yeah, that's my per diem. And who do I give it to? Who do I drop it off to?
It's yours.
This being a comedy, Bobby and Ricky manage to make it to the end alive and safe, but it might be a different story in another kind of movie. Number 18, Lethal Weapon 2. To take down a criminal, it helps to have someone with first-hand experience with crime to explain the ins and outs.
I deposit the cash into the account of a dummy finance company. Now, then I issue you a cashier's check in his name, minus a small commission for myself.
In the buddy cop sequel, Lethal Weapon 2, detectives Roger Murtaugh and Martin Riggs go after South African diplomats using their diplomatic immunity as a cover for their criminal activity. If that wasn't stressful enough, they're also tasked with looking after Motormouth federal witness Leo Getz, played by Joe Pesci. However, Leo proves useful to the pair when he uses his own experience with money laundering to explain how it works.
You give it back to me as collateral on a loan that I make to you, but you don't pay back the loan. You keep the money.
How's that work?
How's what? That's it. Don't you get it? It's your money. You don't pay it back. It's yours.
Crime might not pay, but it can certainly teach some good lessons. Number 17, Tower Heist. Stealing isn't considered a good thing, but circumstances are different when you're stealing from a thief. In the caper comedy Tower Heist, billionaire Arthur Shaw enacts a Ponzi scheme that leaves his employees pensionless. So building manager Josh, played by Ben Stiller, puts together a team so they can get back at Shaw.
So you're saying you want to rob $20 million from Arthur Shaw, which you think he's hidden in a secret wall safe inside his penthouse apartment. An apartment which he's not allowed to leave and is guarded by 3 FBI agents 24 hours a day.
Upon breaking into his safe, they find nothing. However, they soon realize that Shaw has taken his ill-gotten funds and turned them into literal gold, hiding it in the form of a Ferrari.
The hood is solid gold? You have any idea what that's worth? It's not just the hood. It's the whole car. This is where he hid the money.
The authorities get wind of Shaw's scheme, and he ends up in prison. But it's still a pretty clever, if totally unethical plan. Number 16, To Live and Die in L.A. While all of these movie money launderers are participating in illegal activities, Most of them are laundering legitimate currency. That's not the case with Rick Masters, the counterfeiter at the center of William Friedkin's underrated thriller.
Okay.
You're beautiful.
Played by Willem Dafoe, Masters is a con artist who lives up to his name, taking dedicated care to make every last one of his bills look as legitimate as possible. And Masters' nefarious ways aren't limited to counterfeiting. However, the Secret Service is on his tail, leading to a literally fiery death. The realism of the counterfeiting was aided by an actual convicted counterfeiter consulting the filmmakers. And some of these bills ended up in circulation.
If I don't hear from you by Friday, I'm coming back to get this.
It's understandable. Oh, Mr. Jessup? Like your work?
We would love a souvenir from a movie, but not like this. Number 15, Hell or High Water. Successfully robbing a bank involves plenty of strategizing. Even if someone manages to evade capture, the authorities can still trace the stolen funds back to them. Toby and Tanner, the criminal brothers at the center of neo-Western Hell or High Water, have a pretty good plan.
Planning this and doing is two different things.
Maybe we should get day ahead. Get out only. Early bird gets the worm.
After robbing banks to protect their family ranch from foreclosure, they use a casino to hide their money and how they got it. But like in many of these movies, law enforcement is hot on their trail. This time, it's in the form of Texas Ranger Marcus Hamilton, played by Jeff Bridges.
Ready to be done with this. You'll never be done with it no matter what. It's gonna haunt you, son, for the rest of your days. But you won't be alone. It's gonna haunt me too.
At least they were robbing banks for a good cause. Number 14, Now You See Me. Professional magicians use sleight of hand techniques to trick their audience and make them think they've done the impossible.
And do you see your card here?
No.
That's because you're looking too closely. And what have I been telling you all night? The closer you look, the less you see.
In Now You See Me, a group of thieves uses magic as a cover for their audacious heists. They rob wealthy individuals and give the money to their needy audience. In sort of a modern take on Robin Hood. Known as the Four Horsemen, these illusionists also mesmerize the FBI, who are dying to figure out just how they did it.
So we would like to start our show tonight
by saying goodbye.
All we wanted was to bring the world to a magic show.
and thereby bring a little magic back to the world.
Things get a lot crazier from there, with plenty more trickery along the way. It's certainly more impressive than pulling a rabbit out of a hat. Number 13, Dope. New types of money mean new types of money laundering.
Only gonna buy and sell products using bitcoins. It's like a complicated math equation.
So one day we're gonna buy things with numbers from a math equation.
Dope, right?
In the coming-of-age movie Dope, California teens Malcolm, Jib, and Diggy inadvertently end up with some drugs that they're pressured into selling. To protect themselves, they enlist the help of a hacker, who sets them up with a website to sell them via the cryptocurrency Bitcoin.
You have to link your Bitcoin account to a bank account. And then there's this infinitesimally small chance that it could be traced. I mean, the feds would have to know exactly what they're looking for, you know?
Malcolm is later able to use this as leverage for getting into Harvard. Dope isn't a pro-drug dealing movie, but it does seem to be a pro-Bitcoin one. This was the first movie that allowed Bitcoins to be used for ticket purchases. Number 12, American Made. Action comedy American Made is based on a true story, but it's the kind of story that sounds more far-fetched than many fictional ones. Tom Cruise plays Barry Seal, a pilot recruited by the CIA as a drug smuggler for a conspiracy you might know as the Iran-Contra affair.
This is every current law enforcement investigation on the Gulf Coast. FBI, ATF, DEA, Customs. These maps will help you avoid all of them.
Seal ends up becoming an informant, which leads to further fallout. As a drug courier, Seal needs a way to cover up his ill-gotten funds, so he adds money laundering to his potential rap sheet.
We have a new business proposition to you, Barry. You bring your American guns to Colombia, deliver our cocaine here to the Contras, The contras take it by fishing boats to Miami.
Like with many Hollywood versions of real-life stories, American Made plays fast and loose with history. But unlike certain actions in this movie, that's no crime. Number 11, Ghost. Supernatural romance Ghost is best remembered for moments like the pottery wheel scene. But a great deal of the film's plot involves money laundering. After banker Sam Wheat investigates some suspicious financial activity, he's killed and robbed.
Somebody! Somebody help me! Please, anybody! Help me, please, help me!
As it turns out, this wasn't a random killing. His coworker and supposed friend Carl is working with a drug dealer and hired the assailant to get a hold of some valuable passwords.
Just get rid of her, okay? I've got $4 million stuck in a goddamn computer. If I don't get those codes, if that money is not transferred soon.
To protect his still-living girlfriend Molly, Sam recruits psychic Oda Mae Brown to help get the money back. We have one word for Carl and his dishonest practices: boo. Number 10, The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger's Joker is the most prominent criminal in The Dark Knight, but he's not the only one. Also in the mix, though operating under a cover of professional legitimacy, is Lau. As CEO of Hong Kong company Lau Security Investments Holdings, he's able to funnel illegal funds from his work as a mob boss undetected.
Since the enthusiastic new DA has put all my competitors out of business, I'm your only option.
So what are you proposing?
Moving all deposits to one secure location. Not a bank.
Where then?
No one can know but me.
With Gotham's major crimes unit cracking down on money laundering, Lau finds a place to hide his illegal income. But he didn't count on a certain Capes Crusader catching him. Thanks to a timely explosion, Lau escapes from custody along with the Joker. But it's not long before Lau and his money are both gone.
I'm only burning my half. All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to him.
Number 9, The Firm. Another Tom Cruise movie involving money laundering is the legal thriller The Firm, based on the novel by John Grisham. Cruise plays Mitch McDeere, an ambitious young lawyer who is hired by a prestigious law firm, where he's mentored by Gene Hackman's Avery Tolar.
Can I help you?
Actually, I think I'm here to help you. I'm Avery Tolar, your designated mentor. Let's go to lunch.
Lunch? But it's not even...
Not even noon, I know. It'll be a working lunch.
However, this firm doesn't just offend criminals. It's also run by them. Among their many crimes are money laundering, tax evasion, and murder, with Mitch himself soon becoming a target. The firm is taken down thanks to Mitch's whistleblowing, and he's hopefully able to find a workplace with a little less excitement.
I'm with the Department of Justice.
What happened to Eddie Lomax?
We've been investigating Bendini, Lambert, and Locke for 4 years. No lawyer has ever left your law firm alive.
Number 8, Fast 5. The heroes in the Fast and Furious movies commit more than their share of crimes, but they're also doing their part to stop the real bad guys.
I don't know how you guys do business in your part of the world, but here in Rio, I like it when all parties know what they're up against.
That's funny, because it goes both ways.
In the turbocharged sequel, Fast 5, Dom, Mia, and Brian hide out in Rio de Janeiro. In a car stolen from crime boss Hernan Reyes, they find a computer chip documenting his shady financial dealings, including where a smorgasbord of cash is located.
We're gonna use this. We're gonna do one last job. We're gonna take all of Reyes' money, every dime of it, and disappear.
Soon Reyes is after the chip, and the trio is after his money. A crew of old friends is formed for this job, and law enforcement officials Luke Hobbs and Elena Nieves join them as well. Is there anything more exciting than a car chase where a giant vault is dragged? Number 7, Heat. Michael Mann's Heat is one of the best heist movies of all time, and it's helped immensely by the crafty crooks at its center. After stealing $1.6 million worth of bearer bonds, thief Neil McCauley is advised to sell them back.
Nobody knew the merch was yours. Be that as it may, my way you get 100% from the insurance company,
And take the bonds back from us at 60 cents on the dollar and make yourself another 40%.
That might sound like a pretty misguided suggestion until you realize the person they stole from, Roger Van Zant, is a money launderer. Of course, you can't trust a criminal at his word, and Van Zant double-crosses Macaulay and his crew. They're ready for this possibility and stop Van Zant's ambush. Macaulay later exacts his revenge on Van Zant.
Tell you what, forget the money.
What?
Forget the money.
It's a lot of money. What are you doing? What do you mean, forget the money?
What am I doing? I'm talking to an empty telephone.
How's that for payback? Number 6, The Godfather Part 2. Would you ever believe an ingredient in your pantry could be part of a criminal conspiracy? In sequel/prequel, The Godfather Part 2, we see how a young Vito Corleone rose to the top of the criminal world. Like many a mafioso, Corleone uses a legitimate business to cover his crimes. In this case, it's an olive oil importer. In the film's present, son and new boss Michael wants the family business to go straight without all that pesky criminal activity. But his family's history is too big for him to transcend.
In the year 1942 to the present time, you were an employee of the Genco Olive Oil Company?
That's right.
But in actuality, you were a member of the Corleone crime organization.
Once a Corleone, always a Corleone. Number 5, Scarface. Tony Montana is the perfect example of a movie character who literally goes mad with power and brings about his own downfall. The Miami drug kingpin uses a banker to help him launder his money, which is a pretty smart move. However, his banker has his limits.
The IRS is coming down heavy on South Florida. There was a Time magazine cover story that didn't have any. There's a recession in the country. I got stockholders I got to be responsible for. I got to do it, Tony.
Listen to this guy, man. You're going to learn from him.
He tells Tony that he'll need to charge more in order to keep laundering his money, which Tony, being Tony, doesn't take as good advice. So Tony seeks the help of another launderer, Seidelbaum. How does that go? Well, Seidelbaum happens to be an undercover cop.
Get him up! Get your hands up! Put your hands against the wall, turn around.
You're not kidding.
Put him up against the wall. You're under arrest for violation of the RICO statute. You have a right to remain silent.
So, we'll say, not great. Number 4, The Wolf of Wall Street. Wall Street fraudster Jordan Belfort used illegal tactics to bilk people out of their money and make millions. In Martin Scorsese's comic biopic based on Belfort's memoir, we see these shady schemes in action.
Look, I know you're not following what I'm saying anyway, right? That's okay, that doesn't matter. The real question is this: was all this legal?
To hide his money and ward off attention from the FBI, Belfort has it smuggled into a Swiss bank account. How does he do that? Oh, just having associates fly into Switzerland with bands of cash taped to their bodies.
$2 million in cash in her carry-on, which in the big picture was a drop in the Swiss bucket. Because the following month, over the course of 6 round trips, Chantal's family and friends smuggled in over $20 million in cash without even a hiccup.
That might seem far-fetched, but just remember, in those pre-TSA days, it was certainly a lot easier to smuggle things overseas. Number 3, Catch Me If You Can. The Wolf of Wall Street wasn't the first time Leonardo DiCaprio played a charismatic con artist.
I'm sure you hear this all the time, but you have the most beautiful eyes I have ever seen.
I do get that all the time. How would you like it?
In Steven Spielberg's Catch Me If You Can, DiCaprio plays Frank Abagnale, who performs a slew of frauds. In order to make money, Frank literally makes money. He pretends to be a pilot and counterfeits checks from Pan Am that are good enough to fool bank tellers, as well as pique the FBI's curiosity.
You'd love for me to send out 20 agents Christmas Eve to barge into your hotel, knock down the door so you can make fools out of us all?
That's not the only con Frank pulls off, but it's one of his most impressive. Oh, and spoiler alert, they do end up catching him. Number 2, Casino. The role of the mafia in Las Vegas and its casino industry is not a minor one. In Martin Scorsese's Casino, we see how 2 mobsters played this crime game.
I got $100 million a year going through the place. It's all over. I'm going to tell you, it's all over if I don't get that license.
Mobster Ace Rothstein is made to head the Tangiers Casino. with his friend Nicky Santoro acting as the enforcer. It soon becomes plainly obvious that this casino isn't just a casino, and the FBI is taking a special interest in it.
Frankie, look at this.
The feds were watching Nicky play golf for so long they ran out of gas. Just what I needed, right in front of the control board.
While it might seem foolproof to launder money in a cash-based business like a casino, you should never underestimate the power of the feds.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Shawshank Redemption. Early in his prison sentence, inmate Andy Dufresne gets a job in the prison laundry. Later in the movie, he does a different kind of laundering. An experienced banker, Andy is hired by the warden to help him with a scheme where he uses prison laborers to win public project contracts, with Andy laundering the money under the alias Randall Stevens.
Problem with having all that money is sooner or later you're going to have to explain where it came from.
Well, that's where I come in. I channel it, filter it, funnel it. Stocks, securities, tax-free municipals.
But the selfish warden only cares about Andy as a tool, not a human. When Andy reveals information that could get him exonerated, Norton tries to put him through hell. However, Andy's hope is too strong, and he ends up free and wealthy, while Norton's life ends up in shambles.
And the signature was a spot-on match. I must say, I'm sorry to be losing your business. I hope you'll enjoy living abroad.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.